morning, everybody. Good morning, Limitless CEOs. How are you this morning? It feels very strange for me to be here without flying solo today, but I'm so excited to be here today. Just going to make sure I can see comments. I'm so excited to be here with you today to talk to you about one of the subjects I am most passionate about in my life and in my business, and that's what I'm here to do, to talk to you today, all about energetics. For those of you who don't know, I'm Ali Mortimer. I am the energetics coach. I am one half of the co-founder of Limitless CEO. I am the mind master and the master of manifestation, and that's the energy that I bring into the Limitless CEO brand. And I'm so excited to be here with you today to talk to you more about my journey and my beliefs around energetics. And oh, excuse me, I'm here to, well, really firstly to share with you my beliefs around energetics, what it means to me, and to share the fact that I believe that it's a hugely bespoke thing, is energetics. It can be interpreted and it can be implemented in so many different ways that work for you. There's no right, there's no wrong. There's just your understanding of it and the way that you wish to implement it in your life. And I think that's one thing I want to make really, really clear. Everything that I'm going to share with you today is my belief, my interpretation for where I am right now. And I'm so excited to share that with you. And the second thing I wanted to say about energetics was that it's such a big topic. It's enormous, and there's so much to understand about it. So today I'm really just coming in here to give you an introduction of energetics and almost allow yourself to whet your appetite for it. And if it's something that just piques your interest, then I'd love to invite you to go away and find out more about it and follow your curiosity and allow yourself to just go in and become a sponge, because that's exactly what I did. Now, I'm going to start by really just sharing my journey of how energetics has changed my life and why I got introduced to it and how it's changed. So I'm going to wind back 8 years, if my maths is right, to 2014. So in 2014, I had just turned down the most incredible job offer. I was working in a senior position in a very big, one of the top UK retailers, and I had been helping the big websites and transforming the way in which they did business online. And it was all about rapid transformation, and it was working with global teams. I absolutely loved it. But at the same time, I had two small babies. My two teenage sons now were, I think they were 2 and 4, and Tom had just started school. And we changed the way in which we were doing technology, running technology teams and implementing change inside the retailer. And I'd been asked by the head of technology over in Walmart if I could come over to California and implement what I'd done in UK over there. And it was at that point I recognized that I was absolutely exhausted. I was juggling too much. I was trying to be too many things to all people. And this was no longer conducive to where I was at the time. And I handed in my notice and I walked away, and I was like, what am I doing? And it was in the few months after I'd walked away, it was in the May time, it was actually May the 2nd I walked away. So that's, 8 years ago. And it wasn't long after that, I met up with an old colleague of mine who I used to work with many years before at Accenture, and she handed me the book called Secret. Now, you may or may not have heard of it. Let me know in the comments whether if you're watching live or if you're not watching live. If you're watching replay, let me know. Have you ever read the book, The Secret? She handed me this brown book and she said, I think you're going to enjoy this. And I read the back and I was just like, oh my God, what crap. I was used to running teams. I lived in spreadsheets. I was all about budgets. I was all about getting the job done and do. I was in a very, very masculine place. And I was like, I don't believe that. I was the biggest cynic in the world. And I was like, I don't believe that. That's just a whole load of nonsense. And I just put it down and just left it there to gather dust. And then, after a month or so of being on gardening leave, I was getting a bit bored and I was like, what should I do? And it was a sunny day and I took the book, The Secret, outside. And I was like, do you know what? She's handed it to me for a reason. So I'll give it a go. She seems to be really happy. So I'm going to read it and see what this is all about. And I opened up the book, The Secret, and I read the back and I was just like, oh my God, what crap. I was used to running teams. I was all about budgets. I was all about getting the job done and do. I was in a very, very masculine place. And I just put it down and I was just like, this is interesting. And I wonder if this actually works. Do you think it actually works? And for those of you who've read The Secret, there's a bit in it about a feather. And it says, you can start to manifest whatever you want by using the law of attraction. And it said, just imagine a feather and see if one materializes. And I was like, all right then. So I sat there in my garden in the middle of summer, and I was just like, well, let's see if I can manifest a feather. And I kid you not, literally it landed right there. And I was like, oh my God, really? So then I just kept practicing this and seeing if it worked. And there has been some amazing stories that happened along that. And I was like, oh my God, this shit actually does work. So I then became a complete sponge for this whole new topic and way of living and thinking. And I went on this adventure. It was almost like a journey. I was on gardening leave. I had nothing else to kind of like do. So I was like, right, do you know what? I'm going to go off and I'm going to start to learn. And I literally read every single Rhonda Byrne book. I went from The Secret to The Power to Hero to The Magic. And then I moved on to Gabby Bernstein, and I read May Calls Miracles, and I read The Universe Has Got Your Back. You can probably see my bookshelf here. There's some of them up there. And I then moved on to Marianne Williamson and Return to Love, and dabbled in The Course of Miracles and Wayne Dyer. And I just literally just kept going and going. I was reading books and I was listening to their TED Talks. And as I was reading and as I was learning, I was practicing and embodying, implementing in my life all of these techniques just to see if it worked. Just a bit like the white feather came down. I read it, I implemented it, and I learned from it. And I asked myself my own opinion of how this was feeling and was it working. And the stuff that worked, I kept, and the stuff that didn't, I just kind of just let go. And I started to feel this huge shift in my body. It was almost like my insides, and I've written down on my note here, it was like my insides was suddenly coming out. It was like everything on my outer shell, everything that I've been led to believe in terms of this whole masculine way of living and the woman that I was meant to be and the CEO boss that I was meant to become in my very corporate career was like melting away, and my insides came out. And I literally started to change. And as I started to change, I started to notice that everything around me was changing as well. At the same time, my mum was very poorly. She had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's in 2005, and it was now getting progressively worse. And she'd been moved into a home. So by 2016, she sadly and very suddenly passed away. And at the same time, my husband was working away. He was working and living in London, and my boys were growing up, and everything was just changing. My beliefs were changing. The people who I wanted to be with were changing. I was still going through this whole transformation of just trying to understand who I really was now. I was no longer this very corporate identity. I was learning all about this feminine energetics, and I didn't know how that was going to work with my family, my future, what I was meant to be doing. And everything was kind of like in this like mist and fog of just like uncertainty and insecurity. And then my mum died, and it was like my anchor had gone. And it was during this time that I feel that the lessons that I had learned through my understanding of the energetics and manifestation and all of the beautifulness around mindfulness and everything to do with all of that really started to, well, it had prepared me for this deep sense of loss. And when my mum passed, I remember using an awful lot about the energetics beliefs that I had come, and I'm going to come onto the science in a minute, but I could feel her presence. Part of the energetics piece is just understanding that we're all energy. I'm going to come onto that in a minute, the science behind it. I just wanted to share my experience. So it was like, if my mum isn't here in energetic physical form, then I believe that she's here somewhere in an energetic form. She's not here in a physical form, she's here in an energetic form. And I took huge comfort in that. And for those of you who've been following me for a long time, I wrote about my experiences. As I was going on my spiritual journey, I wrote a lot about it and how I was implementing it in life and how I was implementing it as my mum was progressing and how and when she died. And I told the stories of the kingfishers. My mum would come to me in meditation as a kingfisher, and how she would always come to me in my life and everyday life. If I asked a question, she would manifest and show herself in some form of kingfisher. Even if it wasn't the bird, it might be an image or in a book or down the side of a huge lorry. And sometimes she comes to me as butterflies, and I can just feel her presence, and I know she's there. I only have to ask, Mum, are you there? And she shows me. She comes in. And I love that. So it took huge comfort from that side of energetics through my mum dying. And 6 months after my mum died, my marriage fell apart. It came under immense pressure, let's say that way, because we're back together, but it came under immense pressure, and I was diagnosed with clinical depression, PTSD. I couldn't sleep and I couldn't eat, and I felt my mum so much. I would lie in my bed and I would just be meditating or breathing just to try and keep myself from having huge anxiety panic attacks, and I could feel her hand, and it was a really, really beautiful experience. So that was how it helped me through that transition. But when the second, I suppose, kind of like juggernaut hit my life and my marriage broke apart, that meant everything fell apart at that point. I lost my circle of friends, I lost my health, I'd already lost my identity. I felt I was in this very, very dark space, but I truly, truly believe that if I hadn't done this pre-work, if my friend hadn't handed me the book, The Secret, in 2014, then there's absolutely no chance that I would be sat here today talking to you about energetics and living the most incredible life, full of love, full of light, full of happiness and joy and freedom and wealth and health, most importantly. And I truly believe that it comes down to energetics and the way in which I was able to be willing to think and believe differently. The way that I lead with love, forgiveness, compassion, and how I was able to turn all of my fears into an energetic state of love. And I believe that this is why I'm so passionate about energetics and how it can change your life, how you can bring it into your businesses and really, really transform. So that is a little bit about my story in a nutshell of how energetics has helped me and how I was introduced to it. And now I'm so passionate about teaching it, why I'm so passionate about helping people with their journey on energetics and how they can bring it into their lives and how they can bring it into their business. So as I said, this is really just an introduction to energetics, and then I'm going to hand it over to you to take your next steps. But I'm going to give you a really brief introduction of understanding of how I started with energetics. And feel free to ask me questions, obviously, whether you want to ask me questions as I'm speaking or whether you want to ask me questions through instant messenger or an email, please do come in. I'd love to talk about it. So let's start at the very, very beginning. What is energetics? What do I mean by energetics? I can't see any comments, by the way, so I'm so sorry if you are there. I'm saying hello. And if you're asking me questions or you're saying anything, then I'll come back at the end and see if I can have a look, but nothing's popping up. So here we go. So Einstein said that, I'm going to read it off here. So everything is energy, and that is all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality that you want, and you cannot help but get that in reality. I'm going to say that again. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. This is physics. So basically, energetics is science. It's absolutely science. So my initial interpretation of that it was all woo-woo and a load of nonsense is completely disproven by those words from Einstein, one of the biggest scientists ever. You know, this is science. So energetics is science. It's the understanding that we are all energy. We are all energies. The understanding that this whole body, my body, your body, everything around us is particles and molecules of energy. And every single body is a molecular structure. It's just that every single molecule as part of a structure is vibrating on a very, very different wavelength. And that's what makes it unique, and that's what makes it it. So things that are vibrating on a very high frequency are the frequency waves that are very short. So they go up and down really, really rapidly, really high like this. Low frequencies are kind of like the longer ones that go like that, low vibration, like that. And this is high vibe. High vibration, longer, slower vibration. There's no good, there's no bad. It's just high vibe, low vibe. So we are emitting our own energy based on how our molecules are vibrating within us. First thing I'm going to say is that you know it. You do know this already, because it's when you say things like, or I had an immediate connection with that person. I've got a fabulous rapport with her. You're vibing on the same frequency. Your vibrations are on the same frequency. You are an energetic match for that person. You're on the same wavelength. That's what we mean. You know it. You might not be able to describe it, but we can definitely feel it. And you can feel it when you walk into a room. You know, when you walk into a party, you're like, oh my God, this is the high vibe. This is a kicking party. This is great. You can also walk into a room that's completely dead and flat. So you might not necessarily, as I say, you might not be able to describe it, but you can always feel the energy of a room, the energy of a person. That's all down to do with their energetic frequency and the way in which they're vibrating. So we emit this aura, this energy, this frequency that matches other people, other things, other resources, and we can magnetize them. So it's our energy that we put out into the world that is reflected back to us. We magnetize it back to ourselves. Magnetism or reflection, it's your choice. It could be both, it could be either one. So if we dive a little bit deeper, how can we change our energetic state then? Because this is important. When I say it's reflected back to you, it's what we see is different based on our energetic state. So this is my interpretation here. So if I'm in a really great mood, like I am today, I can look out in the world and I see all the good. I'm in such a positive frame of mind and I can see everything being reflected back to me in an illusion of goodness. I'm choosing to see the good. I only see the good. But you know what? The other week when I had terrible headaches and I was feeling really low, I was feeling really awful and frustrated and upset, it was like my whole world was reflected back to me and all I could see was all the things that weren't right, that weren't good in my world. So everything that we feel inside us is reflected back in how we choose to see it. Now that can be magnetism or it's just a reflection and how we choose to see it. It can be both. So if we're responsible for our own molecular energy, what's happening in here, our frequency, our vibration, what do I mean by that? So our energetic state is related to and a direct response to our thoughts and our feelings. The thoughts in our minds and the feelings in our body, that's what creates the energy that we emit. So one of my favorite quotes when I was really stuck and in that place of I'd lost my identity. I had no idea who I was. I was no longer this corporate identity. I didn't know where I was going. I'd lost my mum. I'd felt completely anchorless. I'd lost my husband. I'd lost my friends. I'd lost my family. I'd lost my health. I was just like, I was in this deepest, darkest state of depression. And I was reading a book called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Another one of my many books that I was like literally reading to try and find the answers to the problems that I was finding. And I'm going to read this out again. He says that the primary cause of our unhappiness is never the situation, but our thoughts about it. I'm going to read that again. The primary cause of our unhappiness is never the situation, but our thoughts about it. So it's our response in our minds and in our hearts that makes us happy or not happy. So it's we can choose our thoughts. We choose our thoughts. We are the master of our thoughts. We are not our thoughts, but we can choose our thoughts. And this was so empowering for me in those moments. I can choose to believe that everything that's happened to me in the last 6 months means that my life is over, that there is nothing left for me. I can believe that I'm unlovable. I'm not good enough. I'm never going to get anywhere in this life. No one is ever going to love me again. I'm here for the rest of my life. But I chose not to. I could fear getting back together with my husband, that he was going to hurt me again. I could fear so much in my life, but I chose to welcome love back in. And I chose to be compassionate, and I chose to forgive, and I chose to see things differently. And this was the difference. The situation could have been so different. The situation was the same, but the outcome could have been so different. But I chose to see love rather than walk with the fear. And this is so empowering. And this is pure energetics. So we can apply this good vibration, low vibration to so many different ideals. And I'm just a really simple one is coming in here today. Like we talk in the Limitless CEO, we're talking all the time about showing up, showing yourself, talking about what you're passionate about, sharing your knowledge, sharing your skills, just like I am today. And you could come in 2 different vibrations and 2 different energies. I came in with a good energy of, oh my goodness, I am so excited to share what I know, so excited to start this off, start to sow some seeds of adventure for so many people so that they can fall in love with the topic that is just as much as I am. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to get on in there and share. And I don't even mind if there's no one watching. I'm coming in so that I can share it. And I love this topic. It's going to be amazing. And it's in that energy that people want to listen. You're magnetic because you're talking about something that you love, that you're passionate about, and people cannot help but listen. But it would have been a very, very different ballgame if I'd come in here and I just started to say, oh God, shit, I don't actually know enough. There are people who know more about energetics than me. And oh my God, people are going to question me. They're going to doubt me. They're going to throw rocks at me. They are going to ridicule me for talking about such a nonsense subject. Very, very different vibe. I would have been talking low. I would have been full of the feelings of insecurity, of doubt, of everything. And my energy would not have been attractive. And I bet none of you, if you're watching, whether you're watching live or on replay, you would have turned off by now. It's the same with going into interviews. It's the same with going on a date. It's the same with everything. You've got to go in with the thought and the feeling that this is going to be amazing, rather than, oh no, I'm not good enough. And as women, I think we're programmed to think in that negative way. I'm never going to be good enough. But I'm here to tell you that this shift, this dynamic for women is changing. Everything is changing. You look at the women who are killing it in business, who are loved, who are loving, who are having the most fabulous lives. It's because they've learned how to work with energetics. They've learned how to master their minds. They've learned how to become the masters of manifestation. They're learning to use the energy. They're learning to use this. Everything that I'm sharing with you now is the doorway to the quantum realm of anything that you've ever dreamt of. It's your thoughts and your feelings, genuine thoughts, genuine. It's so important. So I know that through like some of the books and the readings that I've read, there's a lot of talk about affirmations. There's a lot of talk about mantras. And you can repeat these things. I am good enough. I am a success. I am brilliant. I am lovable. I am worthy. No matter how many times you say them, until you feel that they're a genuine belief, I am enough. I am good enough today to come in here and talk to you about what I am passionate about and my story. And I love sharing it. That is the vibration of high vibration, because I believe in it. Now you can use mantras and you can use affirmations, and you can keep repeating them and repeating them and repeating them until you believe it. And that's all. Your belief is just a thought repeated over and over again until you believe it. So you can, but it's only when it lands in here as a real belief that that's when your frequency will change to the high vibe. And that's where we want to get to. So this is what I love, because we all have the absolute freedom to choose. We all have freedom of choice of thoughts. We do. You can choose your thoughts. You might have, well, I mean, I think we have something like 75,000 thoughts a day, maybe even more. And some of them, they just come in, don't they? But you can choose to hold on to them, or you can choose to let them go. You can choose to question them. You can choose to suck the power out of them so that you feel really, really good. So what I'm inviting you to do today is the first thing that you can do to change your vibes, choose your thoughts. And if a thought pops into your head that makes you not feel good, that makes you feel low vibe, then question it and choose a different one. This is one of the simplest things. You can choose love over fear. This is the simplest message that I want to share with you. Choose love over fear. This has been my journey. This is my story. And it's just a question of this. Do I choose to love, or do I choose to live in fear? And that is the way that I started. Do I choose to live in the fear of my life all going down the pan, of being hurt again and being ridiculed? Or do I want to live with love and trust in love and be willing to open up my heart again to love, in the knowledge that it might get hurt again, but know that I'll be okay? So when we vibrate on the energy of love, you are your most magnetic. This is the simplest thing that I could learn and can share with you today. When you are in love, when you're doing everything with love, you'll be vibrating on the most beautiful frequency. My definition of success when everything went to ashes was, my definition of success was all about love. Love what I do, love who I'm with, and love who I am in the process. When I love who I am when I'm with the people I'm with. love myself when I'm doing what I love. And everything stemmed around love. And I was magnetic. I was literally magnetic. My husband won me back. He did everything. He said, I will do anything for you to make you believe and understand that I am so sorry. He changed our whole life around for me. Anything I wanted, he was with me. He wanted it, we wanted it. And now we live in the most beautiful place. Totally in love. He built me a treehouse seat yesterday. You know, it's just love at the heart. My business was all about healing and happiness and love, loving and healing, not fixing, loving and healing. And I built it with love. I built it around everything that I love, with people I love, in a way that I love. And this is so true for the Limitless CEO. We brought all of that in to this brand. We help people build brands that they love in a way that they love, that they're wildly in love with. And it's no coincidence that our logo is a heart, because everything is founded on love. But so many people continue to fear. We're always going to fear. It's our human and our ego. There's always going to be fear. You know, we can choose the fearful thoughts. We can fear what other people are going to think. I could fear what other people are going to think of me while I'm saying this. I could fear that people are going to think I'm really, really stupid about being so overly passionate about a topic. I could fear that it's all going to go wrong. I could fear that I'm going to repel people, that people are not going to take me seriously. I could fear that this is going to lose money. I'm going to fear that I will never get another client in my life. I'm going to fear I'm going to get it wrong. I can feel I can get it all silly. I can fear. All of these fears still can ring true, but I can choose to believe in them. I can choose to follow the fear, or I can choose another path. I can choose love instead. Now, it takes massive courage and incredible honesty to face fears. I know, because I've been there. This is the work of energetics. It's so easy to say something and not mean it. So I'll go back to the genuine. You've got to go inwards to be really honest about your fears. Go in and find them. Go in and find them and bring them to the light. Otherwise, they're going to just stay in there. They're going to get heavier. They're going to get dark, and they're going to get louder. And these are the things that are going to hold you stuck and hold you back in business and in life. So in order to raise your vibration, to get on your high vibing plane, you have to look at your energetic state. And it's the fear that's going to cause that dissonance, that low vibe. Even if you think you are, you've got to feel it. Now, we are only born with two fears. Did you know that? You're born with two fears: the fear of loud noises and the fear of falling. When you're a baby, that's all you fear. Everything else, every other fear that you have, every other fear that I've just said, is one that you have either learnt from an experience that has happened to yourself, or through somebody else, that somebody else's fear has been projected onto you, possibly a parent, possibly a friend. Don't do that live, Ali. You know, people ridiculed me after I did a live. Can you imagine if I believed that, someone saying that? So my role as an energetics coach is to help you unlock those fears, to find those fears, because sometimes we don't even know that we have them. It's to help find them, to really go in and bring those fears into the light. The minute you bring your fears into the light, they lose their power, they lose their frequency. And that really, really does take courage to go down there and really, really go deep. And all I would say is that when you lift out of fear, there's often a wound. It's an old, deep-seated wound, a sisterhood wound. We talk about that, Em and I talk about that quite a lot, from the wounds that have been inflicted by other women. You could have money wounds. You can have so many fears around all of this. And it's usually because we just need to heal the wound. So we take the fear out and we heal the wound. We don't fix, we don't cover it, we heal it. And the way you heal it is the way you heal it with love. When you let go of the fear and heal it with love, you return to love. So for those of you who've read Marianne Williamson's book, Return to Love, this is what it's all about. This book was life-changing for me, A Return to Love. And I want to read you something that I read in her book. And this is so important as my work with it as an energetics coach. She says, your task is not to seek love, but merely to seek and find all of the barriers within you that you have built against it. You build the barriers to love. So all we need to do, and all my role is to help you find those barriers and to help you gently take them down so that you can welcome love back in. And then you can be in that magnetic, beautiful frequency of love where everything comes back to you. hope that landed with you. So as part of the Limitless CEO, what we all have to do is we love to do work that we love. And we love to help women work in a way that they love, around work that they love. And this is when it feels like effortlessness. Work doesn't have to be hard. Work can be effortless, and it's effortless when you love it. When you love it so much. This isn't work to me, coming on here and talking about stuff that I love. Effortless. Effortless. It's beautiful, and I love it. And I used to think that all of this was a whole load of rubbish. Can you imagine if I'd chosen not to pick up that book? I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be with my husband. I'd probably be in some sorry pit, still a terrible eczema, not sleeping, not eating, in a really, really dark place. But I chose to see things differently. I was willing to take a risk, and I was willing to open my mind to think about something differently. What did I have to lose? It changed my life. It changed my relationship. It changed my health. It changed everything. And I believe that energetics is the secret source to absolutely everything in life. It's the amplifier of all good things. So it's all about harnessing your energy, your beautiful energy, by doing what you love and putting love back into your life. And this is when you become your level of magnetism, to magnetize everything that you desire, everything that you want back into your life. So a couple of things I'm going to invite you to do to start this next step of your journey. If this has interested you, then I would love for you to just sit with your own energy every single day. Ask yourself, what's my vibe today? What vibe am I in today? No judgment, and just with absolute compassion, just sit with your own energy and ask yourself, what is my vibe? And if you're on a low vibe, that's okay. Hold it. What needs to heal here? You don't need to fix, you don't need to squash it, you don't need to do anything else. Just what's my vibe? What needs to heal? And how can I move today? How can I return to love today? What can I do to love today? Choose your vibration. This is the second one. Choose your vibration. Do this work. What's going on with me right now? What's making me feel this way? What thoughts are making me feel this way? And how can I get back to love? Number 3, energetics is the understanding that you are your own source of power. You light you up. You are a powerhouse, and the powerhouse that's coming from within. When you look for the power from without, you're attaching yourself to something that can be removed. You're giving your power away. If circumstances have to be perfect, if you're waiting for someone or something, you're giving that power away. Find it from within. Don't wait for circumstances to change around you to make the change within, and you create the change. I fully believe that. You create the change from within. You change within, you change the outside world. Change your inner world, you change your outer world. And number 4, energetics is the pathway to manifestation. Manifesting the life, the business, the love, the health, everything, the life of your dreams. It is the portal to the quantum realm. And what I mean by that is you could drop into any reality that you like. Anything is possible. You just have to drop back into that vortex of love and allow it all to come to you. So some really, really simple things that you can do there. Really simple things that you can do for yourself. But I just want to finish on a few things just to bring it back into how does this all fit with the Limitless CEO? I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't come in here and explain how you can take this further if you wish to. So energetics is at the heart of the Limitless CEO. And if you've seen our aligned business architecture, we talked about it, was it last week or the week before? We introduced our aligned business architecture. It's the Metatron's cube. I can never say that word. The Metatron's cube. It's all about the masculine structure. It's a beautiful blend of masculine structure and feminine flow. And that's what Em and I bring into the Limitless CEO with the heart, the love heart right at the center. It's all about authentic love and how it manifests in you and how you use this to light yourself up so that you bring that beautiful, pure heart energy, soul-led energy into everything that you do and everything that you want to create in your life and business, the masculine and the feminine. And when we look at that Metatron's cube within the aligned business architecture, what you see is the gray circles on the outside are the framework to creating the business that you desire. And that is what Em comes in, and she will help you create the most incredible framework and path and plan and vision to help you create that. She will walk you through the steps. She will make it work for you around what you love, about what you want to share, about what you want to teach. She is the visionary. She can see it for you, even if you can't, because she did that for me. And then she will lay out the plan on how you can get there. But what happens is that we fall off that path because of fears, because of our mindset, because we're easily distracted with other things. Oh, they're doing it in a different way. They're doing it better. Oh, there's another program over there. I'll do that. She's doing it that way. Oh, maybe I should do it that way. We're so distracted by our fears and our thoughts in our head and everything else that's going on around that we don't continue on our own path. And this is when I come in. This is the feminine. This is coming in to always reminding yourself who you really are, what lights you up, what is your pure energy. And yes, everything will work. That attitude of it will work. And you bring that into following the path that Em lays out. That's when magic happens. That is why magic happened for me inside of my first business, inside of Heal Yourself Happy. It was that blend and that path of masculine structure with absolute pure energy and belief that this was going to work, and it did. And this is what we bring into the Limitless CEO, and it works for us in terms of business coaching and helping other women get their businesses off the ground and up and up and up and up and to scale. It's worked for so many other women who we help in their health coaching businesses, in their personal training businesses, in whatever coaching and servicing business it works. This beautiful blend of the two together of masculine and feminine, of structure and energetics really, really works. So if this is something that you really want to bring into your life and into your business, and if you have a coaching business or a service-based business, then we would love to help you. And we have several ways in which you can do that. If I've piqued your interest in this, then I would love for you to go off and do your own. I invite you to go off and follow your own spiritual path, your own spiritual journey, your own energetic journey. Go and find your way and implement it in your way. Go and read the hundreds of books that I have read and find your path. By whet your appetite, I would love you to do that. If you want to go quickly, if you want to understand it more, then you can come into our world and you can work with us. You can take our knowledge, you can take our information, you can take our foresight and our hindsight. Our hindsight is your foresight. We have multiple different ways in which you can harness this for yourself. We have private coaching. We have private coaching with them, we have private coaching with me, and we have private coaching where you get the blend of the two together. If this is something you want to do that's purely for you and all about you, then all you need to do is just drop us an email or drop into our DM box or find the emails. You'll find them or just ask us for it and we will let you know. If this is something you want to know more about, then please come and ask us. Don't sit in silence. Come and find out. We have got the most incredible day in 2 weeks called the Sovereign. And everything that I've shared with you today is what we're bringing into that. It's pure aligned energetics. We will be creating for the women who come, the 4 women who come and join us on the 21st in the Sovereign program. It's a VIP day special for 4 women only. You can come and sit with us and we will work through your masculine structure for what you want to do in your business to take it to the next level or to start it or to go wherever you want to go. And we'll sit with you and work out your plan bespoke for you. And then I will come in and I will be helping you with this energetics. We can start to shift. We can start to have a look at those fears. We'll bring them into the light and then we start to cleanse them. We heal them, we clean them, and we let them go with love so that you can come in and you can walk this path of your strategy and move to your next level in your business and in your life in a way that you are wildly in love with. That's what we will be doing on the Sovereign Day, the VIP day. It's Tuesday the 22nd, overnight to the 22nd. So it's overnight on the 21st to the 22nd. It is an all-inclusive, exclusive day for 4 women. It will be a lot of celebration. It will be a lot of calibration. It's going to be the most incredible day. I can't wait to do that. So if you're interested in that, please let me know. Drop me a DM. We can give you all the information for that if that's something that interests you. I'm sorry, my dog is just hitting the door. He's desperate to go out for his ball. If you are looking for programs. We have so many programs all around energetics. In fact, energetics is brought into all of our programs. Whether you come in for the strategic programs on how to create and build businesses, it's all about the energetics. It's weaved all the way through. So whatever you want in terms of that, we're currently running Freedom Coach live. Freedom Coach is the program where we talk to you about how to reverse engineer your first 6 figures in business. We show you our methodologies, we show you our models, we bring you the strategy, and then we help you understand it from an energetic point of view so that you believe it will work for you, for your life, for your business. We dispel all of the myths and all of the fears and we bring it in. That's running live at the moment. If you want to jump on in, you can come and jump on in live. You'll have lifetime access. You can watch it as many times as you want and you can repeat and go around because we are the consciously evolving owner. It's not about doing it once. It's about going over and over and over it again and keeping on evolving with each iteration. Now that's running live. If you want the link from that, again, please do drop me a DM and I will give you that. We also have lots of sun lounger sessions. We have so many. If you feel you want to vibe on a different wealth frequency, we have the wealth magnet. If you want to understand your inner power and leadership, if you want to unlock that personal power, the womanly leader is for you. If you just want to start to understand the energy of what it's like to be a limitless CEO, then I would strongly advise that you take the limitless principles. Now, I'm going to put all of these links in here in these comments. So if you want them, you can come and get them, or you can drop me a DM. I trust, fully trust. I'm going to be here fully trusting that if there's something that's that interests you, you will reach out and ask us. That's my vibe. I'm going to lean back in full feminine energy. So I'm not going to put the links in here. If there's something that you desire, come and ask for it. It's yours. You've got it. I trust that you can lead yourself to your next step when it comes to understanding what energetics means for you. I hope you've enjoyed today. Do let me know if you have. Leave me some comments, drop me a message, whatever. I've loved sharing this with you. My passion is energetics. It has manifested the most incredible miracles in my life. I am the master manifestor. I cannot tell you how much I've manifested this week. It has been beautiful. So I'm going to leave you with that. It's there for you to take.